I still remember the evening clearly, as if it happened only yesterday. It was ordinary in every way until my phone buzzed with a message that would change the course of night. It was from my friend, someone I had known for years. "Come over tonight. I want to hang out. Don't say no." At first, I hesitated. It wasn't unusual for him to call me, but there was something different in the way he worded it, almost insistent, almost urgent. I could have ignored it, made some excuse about being busy, but something in me wanted to see him. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was something else I didn't want to name. When I reached his house, it felt strangely quiet. The living room lights were dim, the curtains half drawn, and the air held a kind of stillness that made me instantly alert. He welcomed me with his usual warm smile, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was unspoken, lingering in the background. We sat for a while, talking about the usual things: work, daily struggles, the people in our lives. It should have been comforting, but every pause in conversation carried a weight. He looked at me differently that night, not like a friend sharing casual chatter, but like someone holding back a secret. And then his brother walked in. I had seen him before, of course, younger, confident, with a charm that seemed effortless. But that night, when he stepped into the room, it was as though the atmosphere shifted completely. His eyes lingered on me just a second too long, his smirk carrying something playful, even daring. The three of us sat together, and the conversation flowed easily, though beneath the words there was tension. His brother teased me lightly, asking questions that felt oddly personal. My friend didn't stop him. In fact, he seemed almost amused, as though they shared an understanding I wasn't yet part of. As the evening stretched on, I couldn't deny the way I felt. There was heat in the room that had nothing to do with the temperature. I caught myself noticing things I shouldn't, the way my friend leaned a little too close, the way his brother's gaze didn't waver, the strange, unspoken game unfolding between us. I reminded myself that I wasn't free. Somewhere out there was someone I owed loyalty to, someone who trusted me. And yet here I was caught in a web of temptation, unable, or maybe unwilling, to pull myself away. My friend suddenly broke the silence with a casual suggestion, though his tone made it feel anything but casual. "Why don't you stay the night? It's late. No need to go back." The way he said it, paired with the glance he exchanged with his brother, made my heart race. I should have said no. I should have laughed it off, made an excuse, and walked away. But instead, I nodded. There was a moment of quiet after that, the kind of silence that says more than words ever could. His brother leaned back, still smiling faintly, while my friend gave me a look that felt like an invitation to something I wasn't prepared for. I knew then that whatever was about to happen wouldn't be ordinary. This night was going to blur lines that should never be crossed, and yet a part of me wanted it. The decision to stay the night seemed small at first. Just a practical choice, nothing more. At least, that's what I told myself. But as the hours passed, I began to realize that nothing about this evening was ordinary. We sat together in the living room, the three of us, with the television playing in the background. None of us were really watching. Instead, we talked and laughed as though everything was normal, but beneath every word, beneath every glance, there was an electricity that kept building. At one point, my friend poured us drinks. He handed me mine with a smile that lingered a second too long. His fingers brushed against mine, deliberate or maybe accidental. But in that moment, it felt intentional. My pulse quickened. I tried to ignore it, but then his brother caught the exchange, and the smirk on his face told me he hadn't missed a thing. The conversation turned playful. His brother asked about my life, about the people I cared for, even about love. The way he phrased the questions made me feel exposed, as though he knew exactly what I wasn't saying out loud. I answered lightly, careful not to reveal too much, yet every response seemed to amuse them both. As the night deepened, the house grew quieter. The hum of the city outside faded, leaving only the three of us and the weight of silence between us. My friend leaned closer, his voice lower now, his words slower. I could feel the warmth of him, the steady rhythm of his presence pressing against the fragile barrier, I had built inside myself. And then, without warning, his brother shifted closer too, his presence on the other side of me. I was caught between them, the air thick with tension, every movement magnified in my mind. My heart raced, my thoughts tangled. I should have stopped it. I knew what this was becoming. I thought about loyalty, about promises made, about the one I was betraying by even entertaining this moment. But desire is a powerful force. It silences reason, erases boundaries, and all that remained was the fire of the present. My friend looked at me then, his eyes steady, searching mine for an answer I couldn't give in words. Instead, I let silence speak. The faintest nod, the smallest surrender, and he knew. The hours that followed unfolded in a blur of closeness, gestures that spoke louder than words, whispers that carried both comfort and temptation. Every moment pushed me further from the person I thought I was and deeper into something forbidden. The strangest part was how natural it felt, as though it had always been waiting to happen. My friend's affection was familiar, grounding, while his brother's energy was daring, new, and impossible to resist. Together, they created a storm I couldn't escape. And yet, even as I gave in, a voice inside me whispered reminders of what I was risking. Every laugh, every touch, every shared glance carried not only pleasure but also guilt. I was betraying someone who trusted me, someone who would never know what was happening in that dimly lit house. Time seemed to lose its meaning. The night stretched endlessly, every hour blending into the next. By the time I realized how late it was, the thought of leaving had already vanished. I had crossed a line I could never uncross, and there was no turning back. When exhaustion finally settled in, I lay there, caught between them. My heart was heavy with guilt, yet alive with a passion I hadn't felt in years. The contradiction tore at me, but I couldn't deny it. I wanted this, even as I hated myself for it. And as sleep began to creep in, one thought echoed louder than all the rest. This wasn't over. The night had only begun to show me how far I could fall. Morning came quietly, almost too quietly. A pale light slipped through the curtains, soft and fragile, as though afraid to touch the truth of what the night had left behind. I opened my eyes slowly, unsure for a moment where I was. The air was heavy with silence. My friend lay nearby, breathing evenly, as if the night hadn't shaken him at all. His brother stirred too, stretching with a casual ease that startled me. For them, this was nothing unusual. For me, it was everything. I sat up, my head heavy, my chest even heavier. The memories of the night pressed against me all at once, every word, every look, every choice I had made. I should have felt alive, triumphant, or at least satisfied. But instead, guilt wrapped itself around me like a second skin. Neither of them spoke about it. My friend simply smiled, as if this had always been inevitable. His brother teased lightly, his words sharp but playful, as though daring me to admit how far I had fallen. I couldn't answer. My voice felt trapped in my throat. The smell of coffee drifted in from the kitchen. My friend moved about calmly, humming under his breath, while I sat frozen on the couch. I wondered if they had planned this, if I had walked into something long decided, or was it simply chance, desire colliding in a way none of us could control? My thoughts turned to the one I was betraying. Their face rose in my mind, gentle, trusting, unaware. The weight of that trust crushed me now. What excuse could I ever give? What story could I tell to hide the truth? None. The betrayal was done, etched forever into the silence of that house. And yet, despite the guilt, I couldn't deny the pull. My body still remembered the warmth, the closeness, the intensity of the night. It haunted me even as I hated myself for wanting more. That contradiction tore at me until I could hardly breathe. When it was finally time to leave, I gathered my things slowly, as if dragging my feet might change something. My friend walked me to the door, his eyes steady, unreadable. "See you soon," he said, like nothing had happened. His brother leaned against the wall, arms crossed, smirking in that same daring way, as if to say, "This is only the beginning." I stepped outside, and the morning air hit me like a confession. Cool, sharp, unforgiving. The streets looked the same, the world unchanged. But inside me, everything was different. On the way home, I couldn't stop replaying it all. The laughter, the glances, the moment I chose silence over refusal. I told myself it was a mistake, a one-time fall into weakness. But another voice, quieter yet stronger, whispered that this wasn't the end. The temptation was too strong, the memory too alive to fade away. I realized then that I was standing on the edge of something dangerous. I could return to my normal life, bury this night deep, pretend it had never happened, or I could give in again and again until secrecy consumed everything I thought I was. I didn't have the answer. All I knew was that the line between loyalty and betrayal had been crossed, and nothing could erase it. That night would live with me, part guilt, part desire, part secret I could never share. And maybe, just maybe, it would call me back again.